Alright, I'm going to show you my 80% win rate strategy. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, like and subscribe. If you want to get a free account, join the free Discord down below in the description. And if you want alerts for my trades, like I said, 80% win rate, 100k of payouts last year, you can get them in the description as well. So basically, this is all I do every single day. I'm always, let's bring my rules up here. These are my rules for trades, and I'm going to show you what I do. So basically, let's say this is your price action. Let's say this is the 5-minute time frame, for example. All I do every single day is I'll just go at the start of the day, mark out all these obvious swing lows like this. The most obvious swing lows that you can, and I'll basically wait for price to come and sweep one of these lows. This is what I do. I'll set alerts at these levels, and then say, for example, we come down to this low here like this. I'll usually be on the 5-minute time frame because I like the 5-minute the best. You can see my rules here. I'm looking for a sweep of sell side. This is my first condition, and then I'll try and target buy side, which will be this high here most likely. So what I do is I'll wait for a bullish reaction from one of these levels like this, and I'm looking for this V-shape type pattern like this after sweeping liquidity. This is what you want to be looking for, and primarily I'm looking for a 3-candle V-shape pattern like this. So what you want to see is, say for example, this is your sweep of liquidity. We come down, we sweep through the liquidity like this, we create this 3-candle pattern V shape, and then what I want to see is us coming and closing back above a fair value gap created by this 3-candle pattern like this with the sweep of liquidity. Usually on the 5-minute, this is the best reversal model in the market that I have found. It's incredibly high win rate and incredibly successful for me with my specific rules that I take after this. So this is basically this. After we sweep liquidity, we come down and we get the inverse, and all I ever do is I'll just enter once we inverse back to the upside like this, and then I'll just target a 1-for-1 with my stop loss being about halfway between the low and the gap. It's a manual stop loss, so if we do this and we come down and we close back below, I will close the trade for a loss. I risk about $200 per trade on 30 accounts copy traded, although recently I've been trading them in batches of 5 because the price action has been really bad. But anyway, this is my strategy. This is my entire strategy. So basically we come down, we sweep liquidity, we're looking for that 3-candle pattern V-shape on the 5-minute. We're looking for nice momentum and a really good bullish reaction. And then say, for example, my fair value gap was like this. I would just enter here after that sweep of liquidity. My stop loss and manual close about halfway between the low and the gap. On this particular trade here, you can see this is sized for $200. So I would have took this with about probably 1 micro in reality, because obviously you can see it's 1.4 there. And then I would have just held for a 1-to-1, and then I'll usually scale half at 1-to-1, go break even, then hold runners for liquidity highs. And that's my entire strategy, guys. This is what I do every single day. Go and rewatch the video. This is literally all I do. And now I'll just go and I'll show you some examples. So recently, as I said, price action has been really, really bad recently, but there was a fairly decent trade back here that I alerted here last week. This is probably one of the better trades that we have alerted recently. As you can see, I will show you now exactly my strategy in action. You can see we've got an obvious swing low here we create. We sweep the low. We get the 3-candle pattern V shape on the 5-minute. I enter on the candle that closes back above the gap. Target a 1-for-1. This one goes for a 1-for-1. I scale half at 1-for-1 here. Go break even, and then unfortunately I got break even on the rest. You can see the price action recently, guys, has been really bad. Look at this chop. Basically every single day we've just had this horrible chop. There's never really been any clean sweeps and inversions back to the upside. Price action has been a lot more challenging recently, as you can see. Nothing really clean or obvious. The only really good trade that there was last week was this 15-minute, which I'll show you here. You can see at the start of the day I marked out some of these obvious lows. This one here, this one here. This was a really obvious low. And then I marked up out all the way down to here. And you can see as we opened up for market open, we swept down to this area here. We kind of completed the sell model. You can see here we're making higher highs and higher lows, and then we start making lower lows and lower highs. And then we accelerate back down to here, creating that sell model. Really obvious in hindsight. We sweep this obvious low here, and after that point I was thinking, okay, there'll probably be a trade. And then you can see on the 15-minute here, lo and behold, we create this really obvious 15-minute 3-candle pattern V-shape, which I've been talking about. With the sweep of liquidity, the 3-candle pattern V-shape being the most highest, in my opinion, most highest reward in terms of the high. I can't even get my words out right now. What am I thinking of saying here? The most highest probability reversal pattern in the market. That's what I'm trying to say. 15-minute with the sweep of liquidity here. This really obvious swing low here, which was a 9:30 open, a New York open from the previous week there. Friday we come down, we sweep that obvious liquidity pool, and then you can see 3-candle pattern V shape. Really good candle here. This is like a fucking 100-point candle back to the upside there on the 15 minute. So you can see I could have took this with about 2 micros if I'd have taken this trade, and then basically just, you know, you can see I could have scaled one at 1R there for $100 and then held the other one up for about a 6 or 5 or 6R there. Could have made $400 or $500 per account on this trade. I didn't take this trade personally because I didn't trade this day, because I saw, if you take a look here, you will see there were actually some 5 minutes here that failed beforehand. We sweep the low here, that obvious low that we were talking about. We get the 3 candle pattern V shape on the 5 minute here. As you can see, this one, if you take a look, it barely closed above. And then I actually did alert this one in the private Discord. You can see it went for about a 1R. If I can actually get this to snap to the right place. There we go. This went for about a 1R. You can see halfway between the low and the gap there. And then it basically rolled over for a break even. And then after that, I was just done trading because I just figured this would probably be the best trade we get. And as you can see, we came down again. And then we kind of made another 5 minute gap with the remanipulation here. And then we rejected and then we came back up. I never like to take these trades where you do this, where you create the gap, you come down, you kind of reject the gap and then reject the gap and then inverse it. I don't like taking these kinds of trades because they usually fail. And you can see this one instantly failed and rolled over again. And then once we got down here, I was thinking, ooh la la, there might be a decent trade down here on the 5 minute, but there wasn't. You can see after all this liquidity being swept, we just ground down and then we V-shaped back up really nicely. But there's no actual trade here. No trade at all. No gap to use, and really nothing obvious here. The 15 minute was clearly the move, but it was only in hindsight. I didn't check the 15 minute until after, and then the trade was gone. But you can see this V-shaped all the way back out of there, all the way back up really towards the AM highs. And really, honestly, guys, I mean, look at this chop that we're dealing with right now. This is really, really poor price action. This is horrible to trade. And in general, a lot of ICT traders have been struggling recently. Anyone who hasn't been struggling is probably lying about their trades, because realistically, anyone who is trading any kind of liquidity strategy where you sweep liquidity and then try and catch reversals is really struggling right now, because look at how choppy this price has been over the past few weeks. This is basically, we've been in a range here, as you can see, about a 600 or 700 point range for the past week or two at this point. And really, because we're at all-time highs, you can get this sometimes where we start to chop. No one really knows whether to buy or sell in terms of the macro, and you can see we're kind of ending up right now with some pretty choppy price action. We had really ridiculously good price action before this in April, where we were just, you know, basically coming down, sweeping liquidity and then pumping a million points. You can see this happened over and over again. There's a bunch of 5 minutes in here that you could see would have worked. Pretty much any 5 minute inversion after a sweep of liquidity pumped up like a billion points all over the place here. And honestly, recently, as you can see, compared to this really clean upwards price action, recently you can see we've really started to come into a choppy section of PA. And really, until it cleans up, it is going to be more and more difficult to trade. But we stay patient and we stay loyal to the strategy. I know that long term, my strategy is profitable. And that is it for today, guys. As I said at the start of the video, join the free Discord down below in the description. Totally free to join. I am doing a giveaway this week, so make sure you get involved. And if you want alerts for my 80% win rate strategy, I alert all my personal trades that I take, and you can get some more education about how I see the markets in the premium Discord. You can get them in the WAP down below. Go and do that, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you.